In 1910 there was the first world premiere of the Firebird suite of Stravinsky in Paris, exactly 100 years ago. So my theory was that in 2010 this Phoenix bird is 100 years old and we're looking for a place to land. So that's why Robodock decided to do that opera again, to make a really big Garden of Eden on the big ramp. And we put a river on there, which is the River Ganges, and we built a really beautiful nest. So we make everything attractive for the Phoenix to come to Amsterdam, which we succeeded.
Four hours before we opened, it was a very serious option that it was not going to happen. Nobody, the firemen, the city hall, the environmental police, everybody who has something to do with the license, everybody said, no, we cannot take responsibility for this.
This time the artistic team has had a lot of preparation to make something really grand, because it's very unique for everything to come together on and collaborate on this kind of opera scale. It's visually very, very special.
I invited 4 different groups to become members of the orchestra. So there's the whole Berlin posse, the 10 years on Robodock, pyrotechnicians, fire specialists. So all that knowledge and wisdom in fire and technology. Then there's the people from La Machine with Jerry and Polo, from Nantes and Toulouse, to also be part with their fire equipment. So I brought those 2 together as being more the rhythm section of the whole orchestra. And then I kind of thought like, oh yeah, but we also need harmonies, because with the fire and the explosions you can make the rhythms, but to actually do Stravinsky we need harmonies also. So that's why the idea came to invite Mécanique Vivante. As a kind of a miracle, we bumped into Hans Leeuw from a Dutch brass band collective, Tetsepi, and he brought in 10 horn players. 4 groups been brought together to rewrite Stravinsky and to give the burning of the Phoenix, give that whole ritual a musical guidance, kind of a tribute to the Phoenix. It's a tribute to Stravinsky.
Really amazing that this year we made a performance instead of the festival structure, and that has been a really big challenge, to find out how to make an amazing group of people that actually interact very well, because they're used to working together over so many years, working with so many different materials and different performance styles and also music styles, and then to bring all that together into one performance is an incredible thing to do, I think. And it also means that it's a piece of theatre that no one's ever seen before, because those combinations of people and skills has never existed until last night.
Then at a certain moment the relay boxes stop. Oh yeah, and during this the hissing sounds from the stage stops. So when the relay boxes start, the hissing sound from the stage stops.
How do we hear the relay boxes when we're on stage?
I hope they are loud enough.
No.
No? Can you turn like from that improvisation part, and I do this, and I do poof. Can you then make like one big squeak?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
They're actually much better at making bangs than squeaks.
On
as
bangs? like a bank squeak.
And flames though.
But also maybe...
The big problem actually this year is like we only have 3 hours of sound making a day. It's a difficult sound situation, and in these 3 hours we have to build a show of 3/4 of an hour in 2 days.
Or we say we do it with the drummer, but then the drummer must give a groove. And
there was a groove, but it was too quiet. I couldn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything?
No. That's why I say, can't we just hear it now for a second?
Listen, how it was the last part of the solo, everyone started playing with it because there was a part at the end of the solo that's grooving. And you all joined in, which is fine with me. But then the solo actually stopped, and then he went into his bumps, which we did before as more of a metronome beat for you guys. So if you want, we can carry on. Playing what he was playing before when he sat down in
The Firebird opera is composed as an opera. So there is a musical score, and there is a theatrical aspect to it, and there is the horn section. And it was my task to connect it all together, and on my computer I have the central control of everything. Some of the musical score is improvised pieces, and some of the score is like pre-composed central themes that come back. I just do my best to get all the MIDI sequences and everything programmed so that the composer is happy, so that his horn section actually hears the orchestra play what they expect the orchestra to play and no weird surprises. And then the music just flows. It really works, and it really gives the feeling of a whole orchestra playing.
The chairman of the city department decided that it just had to happen, and so there were some external experts looking at all the gas installations, and then they said, yeah, it looks like a mess, but it looks like an organized mess. And exactly this quote was good enough.
Yes, I have built this. Now it's like an egg, but it isn't an egg. It's like a flower, because inside there is a surprise. And now we haven't got time to try. This night is the test. We test this flower with surprise inside.
Farmer. So then they are just
They're roots,
the roots.
really big ones. We hit them, of course, but there are 14 huge roots with a little bit of the stem on it, and we put them in a circle. So it looks a bit like the fire's already been there, but it's been like it froze. It's like a frozen fire. In the mythology of the phoenixes, when it burns, then it makes place for something new, or your dream will come true. Or the idea is that you write down a wish or something that you want to let go in life or in personal life or whatever, and you write it down. You fold the boat and you go to the river, you put it in the river, and it takes it down near the Phoenix. So we have all these little boats here with all these very cute wishes or really personal messages as well from people, and we put them in and we hope they burn.
You only make a little model and then you have to fantasize how it's going to be, and it worked really well, so it was a big challenge. Because it can be also looking like, not like a phoenix, but like a pigeon or something.
You do some conducting.
Oh, Bastian?
Okay, Mino, you start.
It's all Mike's idea. He's also paying for all the gas.
We always wanted to play together because we do very similar things, but in a different way. After it's established, we come in and join, and it just continues.
And play
It's
with
a
the
restart,
drama.
a no stop and a restart.
It's for me the biggest experience. I mean, this is also the most gas. I mean, look at all these big bottles we have here everywhere. It's like, for me as a fire guy, I love it.
This is called the heater. It's already quite old, and it works on actually quite low pressure resonating flames. So it makes very deep sounds. Those pipes, they're called the crack pipes. There's one down there, a very fat one, and a thin one behind the heater here. They make just very loud, very nasty explosions.
Where's my bow? It's a bowed instrument. In this particular setting, this is a harmonious bridge between the deep instruments and the horns. For Hans, the composer, this was a wonderful chance for him to get all kinds of explosive freaks together and put a lot of fire behind his musicians, and they are quite spectacular, his musicians. They're real musicians. They've never been burned before. They never had to jump out of the way of explosions, and they're really doing great.
We do have a fire team here. You have one person on each side with a fire blanket and a CO2. If you guys realize that your partner's on fire, you're on fire, look to the stage, the side of the stage that you're on. It splits directly down the middle. And wave to our fire person if they don't see you. They will be watching you. But they will come up to you with a fire blanket. What they're going to do is open that blanket and pat it out. I don't know if your instinct is going to be to run. I don't know if your instinct is going to be to stop, drop, and roll. You won't know that until the moment's there yourself. Honestly, it's human nature.
Mad machinery to make things burn in rhythms and music. Keyboards, drum pads, banks of switches and knobs to twiddle. High tension electric spark, high tension transformer, electric valves. Each group of flames has a manifold. Cut-off valves, more and more and more spaghetti. Compressed air, we can add gas, we can add oxygen. We can change the mixes inside the pipes, get all sorts of different noises out of them. It's the first time we put computer control on it. We've always used mainly beatboxes and keyboards. Stark has got a computer that controls everything, so he's able to write pieces of music. We're able to write music for all the effects of Berlin, all our effects here, and the Robo drummer up top, which is quite exciting.
Robodock is an event. This is really hard to plan. Like I said, it's one dynamic thing, growing, creating, and it's quite impossible to to tell 4 or 5 months in advance how it's going to be exactly.
We are artists, and here, not me, but all the people work here have a lot of creativity. And the creativity don't like the rules.
There's no school for this. There's no one going to train you to do this. It's pure creation. It's pure creation from the start. And if we don't have places to do it, it doesn't happen. That's all there is to it.
You need a place in between the rules, in between, so from there things can arise. And that's also with art. If you make all the rules and all the places really close, then nothing can grow.
I must admit that Robodock has lost this fight for space, because it comes from 20 years of squatting tradition, and from CeeLo and from ADM and NDSM, and you know, we play the biggest warehouses in the city, and we're used to that kind of space. But the city is changing that rapidly that space is kind of lacking. So Robodock has to spend a lot of time in fighting for that space, and has to put a lot of time in fighting for permits, fighting for money. Basically, 80% of our time goes to fighting.
I think it's essential, absolutely essential to the creative world, that places exist where artists can practice freely and not be constrained. I tried it, you know, I was in architecture school and all this. I got really tired of being told how to be.
I think this rule kill the creativity, kill the artists, kill the future, kill the human people. Because without creativity, no people, only robot, no?